What's up, everybody? I am Jesse, or GameOverJesse as all of you may know me. This is the Hylian Gamescast. We are here with Hylian Luke.
Right here.
Oh,
Hello.
Hylian Luke on the Hylian's Gamescast.
Woo!
Oh man, who would have thought of that?
We
The
have
Hylian Inception.
our co-host, Daniel,
Hello.
or King Bergerson. We have another kind of co-host, Sexy Mac, who does a lot of voiceovers in our videos.
Yes, hello.
We
He has the voice, the disembodied voice.
Yeah, today...
I am the voice that you hear at night when you try to sleep.
Yeah. So we have a giveaway going on with our friends at Nintendo Prime, where we're giving away a $20 eShop card. You have 5 ways to enter. Just go down in the description or the comments below, click on the Gleam link, and it'll give you 5 easy ways to enter. Each one is just subscribing to us, following us on Twitter. All you have to do, it sounds like it takes a long time, but all of it only takes like 5 to 10 seconds. You just tap or click on each of the things and you can enter for the giveaway 5 different ways. It'll end in a week or 2, and if you win, we'll just send you an email with the code to redeem the $20 from the eShop. And if you don't win, then you can just enter again, because we're going to be doing another giveaway as soon as we end this one, but instead of Nintendo Prime, it'll likely be with Zelda Master. So today's topic of discussion is the top 5 fake Zelda game rumors. So a lot of times fans will, I don't really know if I want to call them fans, because I don't think a fan would get the hopes up of other fans just to crush them. But over the years there have been a lot of fake Zelda games that have popped up, said to be released as hype for whatever the next Zelda game is that comes in. So whenever the 3DS released, pretty soon to the release, it released with Ocarina of Time 3D, and then came A Link Between Worlds. But before we had the first original Zelda game, which you could call it original, you could call it, I look at A Link Between Worlds as more of a reimagining, where it's not necessarily a remake, but it began as a remake, and then Aonuma wanted to make something new. So instead of starting from scratch on a new game, they ended up turning the A Link to the Past remake into a sequel, which is why it looks so similar, because it began as a remake. So I look at it as more of a reimagining. But anyways, it's a bit off topic. There was a leak of an image said to have been a reveal for an upcoming, at the time, Nintendo Direct, where they would have revealed 2 new Zelda games, not just one, for the Nintendo 3DS. Hopefully, if you're watching on the live stream, it's the image that is on the thumbnail right now. Luke was actually able to find it for us before we started.
Mm-hmm.
So it was going to be similar to the Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons, or similar to every Pokemon release, where they release 2 different versions of a Zelda game at the same time that both in some way end up connecting with each other. Again, they did this with Oracle of Seasons and Oracle of Ages. They do it every single time with Pokemon. They recently did it with Fire Emblem on the 3DS, where they had the 2 different versions, and then they had a single third version that kind of combined the 2 stories. So people looked at it at the time as like, oh, this is fake. Nintendo would never release 2 Zelda games at the same time. And I remember at the time being like, well, they kind of already did. So like the argument against it was invalid, but it ended up being a fake rumor despite that. Mm-hmm. I forgot what the exact titles of the games were, but one alluded to ice, the other alluded to fire, and then the titles of each was like a red logo and a blue logo. It was supposed to be, I think it was supposed to be based off of, at the time, Ocarina of Time 3D had already came out, so a lot of people thought for the next Zelda game it would just reuse that engine and just be 2 new games. But yeah, it ended up turning fake, so that would be number 5 on the list. So just based off of the ice and fire, whatever, logo that I had, the red and the blue, what do you guys like? What could you envision for a potential Zelda game like this, or Zelda games like this?
Jesse, real quick.
Yeah.
Nathan donated $5 again in the chat.
What? Nathan.
Dude, you're killing me. We love you.
Oh my god, Nathan.
You guys, you guys really don't know how much this means.
It's amazing. Okay, so he said in his $5 donation, drop the mic. So here goes. Okay, so there you go,
No,
Nathan.
don't
Drop the mic.
Don't drop the $100 mic.
No.
No. So
No,
what
no.
what do you guys think about the thing? Like, obviously, look back on it, it's fake now. But what do you think whenever?
Fake news. Yes. Luke, why don't you go first?
Are we just talking about the one
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
just discussing
Yeah.
now? Okay.
What do you
All
think?
Yeah, just the
I-
the idea of like 2 Zelda games releasing at once, and then
Well,
yeah.
I was pretty. I remember being ecstatic about that. Like, it was. Because back then I was pretty gullible about all the leaks and stuff. And I just remember seeing that, and I thought it was super cool. And I kind of thought it might have been fake just because of how it was 2 at
Oh
once.
my god, 50.
Oh my boy.
Holy
$50. Oh my god. It's not a contest, guy.
50!
You guys are.
Ain't no bid wars.
Oh my gosh.
What is happening?
Okay, so I looked it up. The Swedish currency 50 would be about $5.50 here. So
Okay.
it's more of a reasonable
Okay.
donation.
Okay.
It's not as if he was donating $50.
Okay. That was my first.
So-
I just saw the 50. I was like, wow.
Yeah, I was gonna
But
say.
still, dude. No,
color.
no.
The color was.
Oh, that's pretty good. That
Still
looks-
amazing that
Yeah.
you guys are like, just. I'm speechless. Sorry.
Yeah.
The bid wars continue.
Thank you.
Go on though, Luke.
Yeah. So
Alright.
basically, do you like the idea of like 2 Zelda games releasing at the same time?
If it's the same, if it was a lot like Pokemon, where it's the same adventure, but there's like slight differences,
Mhm.
I wouldn't mind. I would just get the one that appeals to me most, and then maybe get the other one just for fun, and just so I can display it on my shelf.
Fill out the collection.
To fill out the collection, yeah.
Yeah.
But the original artwork and the graphics of those leaks, it looked super legitimate, so I believed it for the longest time. And then it got confirmed fake. So there was that. What do you guys think?
If it were like more on the lines of like the Oracle games, where it's 2 games that you like use the same design and same engine and all that, rather than 2 games that are the same game but like Pokemon style, where it's different, like very just slight variations of the same game, I would be more excited about it. I don't actually like. I only found out about this leak in hindsight after the fact. I never saw it when it was like first leaked and like rumored and everyone was freaking out about it, so I don't have a ton to say about it myself. But very well done leaks, like as far as the like how legitimate they look. The logos look really good, mock-up logos as well. They kind of remind me of the Smash Bros. Wii U and 3DS logos with like the flames like that actually.
Yeah.
But so in that, like with that connection to it, almost makes it look like very legit Nintendo, because it's very similar to what they've done before. But
Yeah.
yeah, but I missed out on that fun little rumor way back when those, what was it, probably like 5 years ago, that it was 6 years ago.
Yeah, it was. I remember the leaks or the fake leak came out when I was writing for Zelda Dungeon.
Okay.
We had to cover it in a news story, and I remember thinking, I kinda like. I was about 60-40, like 60% thought it was fake, 40% thought it was real, because at that time, like, Zelda games and stuff never leaked. Like, no Zelda game has ever leaked ahead of time. None. So at that time, I was thinking, oh, this is fan-made, whatever, but it was a cool idea. What made it more believable to me was the fact that it was two separate games. Because usually if someone's going to fake a game, they're not going to have the guts to fake two Zelda games that are connected. Because that's only happened one time before. So the fact that they just went with it, and like, what's better than one fake game? Two fake games. Two. Yeah, so Connor, what are your thoughts?
Oh
Thing
my
is,
goodness.
Just got
$10 from Nathan.
You guys early
Oh,
enjoying the stream.
My gosh.
I think
Wow.
I might have to send you guys a shirt. Maybe.
I think you should.
just
I think
use
both of
the
these
money you
shirts.
guys have donated to send you guys shirts.
You need some
Seriously.
GameOverJesse shirts. I'll vouch. I've got one. I'll vouch for those shirts.
Yeah, we
There's some good shirts.
So here's the thing: I could make more money with the shirts because they give you an option of what type of shirts you want to use. You can use like really cheap shirts or the expensive shirts that feel better. I could have chosen the cheaper shirts and then sold them for the same price as the expensive shirts and made more money per shirt. But I chose to go with the least amount of profit with the more expensive shirt because I didn't want it to be a shirt that people didn't want to wear because I didn't know what the other material was. Like, I didn't know what kind of material they used, so I just assumed the most expensive material would be the most comfortable to wear, which isn't always the case, but for this it's what I went with. And I like v-necks, so yeah. But anyways, Sexy Mac.
Sorry, it interrupt.
Yeah, what I was saying before was I didn't really hear about the leak or whatever, like the fake leak or anything up until like today.
Oh.
Like right as we're doing this, so I didn't really have any major thoughts on it. I was just, you know, it's like leaks are always a thing, and I always try to avoid them as much as possible. It's like if you're gonna leak something, then, I mean, at least make it true, but you know, I just avoid them because I don't want to spoil any games for myself, you know. Even if it's just like a rumor about a game, I'm just like I'd personally rather just, you know, play the game when it comes out and not have to worry about like knowing stuff in advance.
All right.
And there's something to be said for the hype of like when a legit reveal comes out, like when Nintendo makes an announcement, they do it well, right?
Yeah, like with Smash Bros, it's like the Smash Direct, it's like, well, this is giving us everything we want to know that we need to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right.
So I'm gonna go with the next leak. But if you guys know of any, think of them, and then after I finish talking about this one, we can go to you. But if you don't know, then I'll just go. So the next one that I want to talk about is and I was talking about this earlier. So number 4 would be Twilight Princess 3D. This was coming.
Yes.
I don't know if this came after the other Wii game, Xenoblade, was ported to the 3DS. So we already, and then of course we had Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, which looked better than the original Luigi's Mansion that ran on the 3DS. So whenever this came out, a lot of people were like, Twilight Princess wouldn't be able to run on the 3DS. This is so fake. It's so stupid. And I would always have to remind them, I was like, well, Xenoblade is a game that can't even run on the GameCube. Like, you need the Wii to run the game. Like, it was made for the Wii to take advantage of the more powerful system, and it is on the 3DS, or at least the new 3DS. And then they have Hyrule Warriors, which was a Wii U game ported to the 3DS, which I was just amazed that I could run it to begin with. We also have Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater was one of the first 3DS games, and that was a PlayStation 2 game that was ported to the normal 3DS. So we had all of these GameCube games or Wii games or PlayStation 2 games that were already running on the 3DS. So I had to remind people that, because whenever they think of Twilight Princess, they think of it as this huge game that was super realistic for the time. And they just thought like, oh, this wouldn't be able to run on the 3DS. And I had to remind them, it was like, well, the rumor may be fake, but the 3DS is more than power. Like, they could put Twilight Princess on the 3DS and make it look better than it did on the original hardware.
Yeah.
Because the
And
3DS,
the new 3DS XL would definitely be capable. For sure. Yeah.
But this rumor came about. It wasn't a leak online. It wasn't anything like that. There was a convention, something. It wasn't E3. It was something like Comic-Con New York or something, where Nintendo had a big focus at, and there was a lot of people that took their 3DS because 3DS was kind of new at the time. I think Ocarina of Time 3D was on the 3DS, but there wasn't any other Zelda games on 3DS at the time. But anyways, there's a lot of people that didn't notice it at the time, but they got home, they were messing around with Street Pass, and they were going through checking all of the different people that they had connections with to get all of their like Mii Fighters or whatever for the different games that they had that was like pre-installed on the 3DS. And one of the people that they had passed, that hundreds of people passed, had Twilight Princess 3D as the last game that they played. It had the logo, an icon for it, the title, The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess 3D. So I can understand why people thought it was real. But it turns out it was a hacked 3DS, and Nintendo ended up, I don't know if the patch was specifically for this or not, but there was a second set of rumors that everyone who had Street Passed with that 3DS were having their systems to where they couldn't access like Nintendo Online or something like that. Like Nintendo was blocking the accounts of people who had interacted with that person because they didn't know if they'd also hacked their 3DS to get it on there, or like I don't really remember what the situation is, but I remember it was really confusing. Like, the story popped up, and then like a week or two later another story popped up where the people who had interacted with it were having stuff happen to their systems to where like Nintendo had either bricked their system or made it so that it couldn't update or get online or something like that. But what do you guys think about Twilight Princess 3D?
Well, I remember
Hold
seeing
on.
that.
First, I want to add, it also makes sense in the sense that Twilight Princess is like a spiritual, like it is a sequel to Ocarina of Time because it happens later on, but it's also a spiritual sequel in the sense that Miyamoto and Aonuma said with Twilight Princess they were able to do a lot of things that they wanted to do with Ocarina of Time. So with Ocarina of Time on the 3DS, it also made sense for Twilight Princess to come to Switch because it was similar gameplay wise. Like, obviously you don't turn into a wolf, but like you have all of the same temples and everything like that, and then the story was heavily tied together. So I wanted to add that in, but back to you, Luke.
Alright. Well, I remember
Also, nice
seeing...
beard.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that. I remember seeing that rumor a few years ago. What year was that? It was like 2015 something. It was 2014.
I can fact check really quick.
Okay. Well, I remember seeing that one time when I was just in school, not paying attention. I just wanted to look at Nintendo news. I remember seeing that, and I honestly got. I was kind of confused because I wasn't sure why Nintendo would make Twilight Princess for a handheld device when they could have just put it on the Wii U at the time. But like, looking back and after what you've said, Jesse, it does make sense that they would put it on the 3DS because Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask were both also on the 3DS. So that does make more sense, and the fact that the 3DS is kind of a mobile GameCube in a way, but it's slightly more powerful. like especially the new 3DS. So the possibilities of Twilight Princess being on a new 3DS would definitely be possible. Even maybe some FPS upgrades. Like it could possibly be from instead of 30, they could go to maybe 40. And that's a small difference, but it would be a difference definitely. And they could definitely add all the stuff that they did on the Wii U one, like how they replaced some of the rupee chests with
All right,
stamps.
so really quick, it looks like all of the rumors that I can find from websites posting about it was 2015, but it was long before 2015 that the rumors started coming about. But I guess something like another surge happened in 2015 where the rumors started getting popular again. So it was before 2015. Again, this was
Okay.
around the same time as like Ocarina of Time 3D released. So like a year or two, like it was within 2 years of the launch of the 3DS. So, all right, but continue.
Okay. Yeah. So that's also the same year Majora's Mask 3D came out. So that does kind of tie in because they were doing a lot of
Hello?
Hello.
Hello.
Alright. My internet cut out for a second. So the last thing I heard you say, Luke, was after Majora's Mask they were doing a lot of... So continue from there, sorry.
Okay. Yeah. All right. No problem.
I seen it
I
on
was
my,
saying-
my OBS at the bottom. It has the kilobytes per second that you're streaming at, and it went from like 1500 down to like 12. So,
Oh wow.
I
Yeah.
don't know what was up with that, but yeah, continue. Sorry,
I
guys.
hate it. I hate it when OBS does that. But yeah, as I was saying that because Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask released both on the 3DS, it does make sense that they were also making more ports to the 3DS to keep us occupied for Zelda Wii U, which turned into Breath of the Wild, and then the new 3DS Zelda game, which became A Link Between Worlds. So that kind of made sense that they were just doing a lot of remakes or ports or whatever to their newer consoles to keep new audience and reoccurring audiences occupied until the time being. And that was all I really said.
All right. Connor. Sexy Mac.
Yes. Well, personally, I think that the idea of having that game on a 3DS system would be real cool, and I'd probably buy it on the spot because that's I haven't actually played the original game, to be honest. So
Well-
it would be a good way to get people to experience the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The one thing that I would like to... I meant to say this earlier, but... Twilight Princess... so the 3DS at 240p is the same resolution as the Nintendo 64. So Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask are the same... like, it has a higher aspect ratio on the 3DS because it's almost widescreen. It's not quite 16 by 9, but it's almost there. So Twilight Princess would be a game to where while the textures and everything could look better on the 3DS, it would have a lower aspect ratio, similar to Super Mario 64 DS, to where the textures, the character models, everything was updated on the DS version, but the actual amount of pixels were lower on the DS than the Nintendo 64 version. So Twilight Princess in some ways would look better than the GameCube counterpart texture-wise, but then pixel count, it would look like it had even more jaggy edges. So
Hmm.
In a way, it would be an upgrade, but it would also be like a downgrade as well. But anyways, I just wanted to say that real quick because that would be interesting for me, at least.
Oh, Jesse's a spinning circle. Okay, no, he's back.
Yeah, I had to fix it. My camera was lagging. So, were you done, Connor? We can go to Daniel.
Yeah.
All right, D man, Big D.
The big, oh, it's me, the big D. So this rumor, I'm pretty sure I saw on Game Explain first. I think they were the ones I saw reporting it. Although, while we were talking about it, I'm trying to look for it. I can't find their video. So I might be misremembering. I definitely found a Nintendo Life video about it, but pretty sure it was a Game Explain video because they report on like everything very quick with that, which is awesome. And I'm pretty sure I knew, like, I feel like I don't remember ever buying it, you know, like being sucked into this rumor. There are some rumors that like I legitimately believe, or at least I try and take with a grain of salt always, but you know, sometimes it catches me and I'm like, okay, yeah, that could be real. I don't think this one ever struck me and was like, yeah, this is legit. Like, it always seemed to me to be kind of like a fan mock-up because I don't know, something just didn't sit right with me when I saw the rumor.
Are you still talking about Twilight Princess 3D?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, just something didn't sit with me right when I saw it come out like that room. Even though, yeah, like you said, and Jesse, you kind of did explain it out, but like it could still happen theoretically, like in hindsight. But obviously, Wii U is a far better candidate for it, and Twilight Princess HD I think is the best version of the game out of the three on the Wii U. But yeah, it's a weird, it's kind of one of those weird little leaks where it was a really sneaky, well done way to do it because it wasn't like they published a Reddit post or something on 4chan and was like, this is a thing I found. Like they kind of just went out with it there on Street Pass and just like let other people find it, you know, which is like the sneakiest way to leak, to do like a fake leak or rumor. So the thing that strikes me the most about this one in particular is it seems very like crafty the way they did it. You know, like that a lot of thought went into leaking that, as fake as it may be. So yeah, that's all I got to say about that.
All right, Luke, did you have the third fake Zelda game?
Yeah.
Zelda?
The Legend of Zelda Shard of Nightmare.
Yeah.
So edgy.
Tell us about that. I remember that.
Yeah,
I think
there was.
I'm gonna check really quick. I think I wrote the article on that for Zelda Dungeon.
Okay. Yeah.
But continue. Tell us all about it.
Well, I actually don't know much about it because it was just a rumor. But I remember seeing this leak. It was like right before, it was before E3 2014, before they showed off Breath of the Wild, before we even knew what Breath of the Wild was called or anything. Before we got just a glimpse of what the world looked like. This was a leaked image of the title screen. It was called Shard of Nightmare. It was supposed to be a sequel to Twilight Princess, and there were even some faked screenshots of the game. And because of all these like leaked screenshots, I thought it was completely real for some reason, and I was super hyped. And then when I saw the Zelda reveal and for Breath of the Wild, and it was just called Zelda Wii U at the time, I actually remember being kind of disappointed because it wasn't like super realistic like the leaks showed, but it was like very colorful. I still love how it looks and stuff, but I didn't get the prediction right, so I was kind of upset with myself. But that was how long ago? 4 years ago. Yeah. So that was pretty interesting. And I remember one of the screenshots showed Magic Power. So like Magic Power was making a comeback in the leak, and it made me excited because we haven't had Magic Power in a Zelda game in quite a while. I think the last one was like Between Worlds, and even then, like the magic just regenerates over time instead of having to find actual potions to reclaim your magic. So there was all that. Anything to add?
I was just looking into that. I hadn't seen any of the fake screenshots before, so I was just googling it, and I find there is a screenshot that looks like it's got the magic bar on the vertical on the left side.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And
So
yeah,
if
and
anyone
then
can see
he's like holding a
this,
torch and. Oh yeah, that's the one I was just looking at here too.
Yeah, that's the one I was just looking at.
yeah,
Yeah. And it's a
It's-
really neat screenshot. Like definitely Twilight Princess design.
Mhm.
With the Hylian shield having
Yeah.
the little points off the Triforce and everything. But
Mhm.
yeah, I forgot the actual source of the image, like what it actually came from. Obviously, it's fan mod of some kind, but I forget
Yeah.
what. Or it could have just been the image itself was made up. But it's really cool because coming off of Skyward Sword, which didn't really, because Twilight Princess was at the time highest selling Zelda game, and it just happened to be the most realistic Zelda game for the time. And then Skyward Sword came and didn't sell nearly as well. They thought it was going to sell like twice as much as Twilight Princess, because when it released, everyone owned a Nintendo Wii. It was just everyone owned the Nintendo Wii to watch Netflix at the time. So with this, like the realistic graphics and everything, because it looked like what Twilight Princess would look like at the time on a Wii U. So that's why everyone assumed it was real. And I had like the return of the magic meter, which was supposed to be in Twilight Princess but wasn't there. It had like it just looks really cool. Like it has Link holding the torch and the thing, you can kind of still see it in the background there. But it was a really cool leak. I thought it was real. I thought the name was stupid, a bit too edgy for me.
don't like the edge.
Yeah. So, because like Shard of Nightmare, it's like, well, Twilight Princess had like the shards of Twilight, so maybe, the Twilight shards, that's not too far off from Shards of Nightmare. And then like Link's Awakening, kind of based off of Nightmare, Phantom Hourglass as well, because you're in like a dream world and like you have to stop the nightmare things from attacking or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, so like it made sense for me. I thought it was real. So yeah, that was a good one, Luke. Sexy Mac, do you have anything to say on this? Do you have anything to say?
You know what? I don't know. Honestly, I think I'm about content with how far this has gone thus far.
Okay,
That's
do you
fair
like
enough.
the?
Thank you.
Did you like the image though?
It is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it looks interesting, but I mean, I don't know. It just I don't know how that game would work out just in general.
Yeah, it actually looks really close graphics wise to the Zelda Wii U tech demo.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
a
it
more
does.
realistic Twilight Princess. But anyways, Connor, do you have your? Oh, sorry, Luke.
Something to add. Something I've noticed like now is that screenshot with Link and the torch. I noticed that it kind of looks like the Smash Brothers Brawl model from Link, and they just kind of rigged it for the screenshot. Because Brawl Link versus Twilight Princess Link, Brawl Link actually does have some slight more details than the Twilight Princess Link. Like the textures are more colorful yet realistic versus Twilight Princess, where it's like very dull, and it's still realistic, but the textures aren't as high quality, so they're kind of darker. And then Twilight Princess has that shader that causes them to look brighter than they actually appear.
All right.
And then the Brawl Link is just simply looks better, and I noticed that kind of looks like a Brawl Link screenshot, and they just kind of faked it out with that, which is why it kind of looks better, because it's the Smash Brothers Brawl Link.
Right, because when you look at it, really, your first instinct is to compare it to Twilight Princess, and you see, oh, that's not the same model, but it's the same design, so it looks more legit that way. But even if it's actually just a model that's ripped from something else, like,
Yeah.
no, that totally makes sense what you're saying, but it kind of tricks you that way, because you want to, you want to draw, like, see if it's drawn from another Zelda game. That's your.
Oddly enough, one of my favorite Link character models is from the promotional material of Smash Brothers on Wii U, because it has like the new original Link design where it looks like a mix between like Ocarina of Time and Twilight Princess.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But Connor, do you have your fake Zelda game that you can remember? Any at all?
I can't really remember too many like fake Zelda games though. I remember there was, well, it's not really about a particular game. It's just more about like a part of a game that was like a real game, which was the like the rumors about like there being a light temple like unlockable in certain ways. Like with,
the Ura Zelda stuff.
Yeah, like that whole thing. Just like it was interesting to see, but it just like this is kind of a little hokey in some senses.
All right, Daniel, do you have number 4? Number 4, the 4th game. Number 2 on our list, I guess, if we're counting
This
down.
one is one.
Hey everyone, it's me again, Elia Rose. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching this video. And you know what? If you're a fan of videos like this, you should totally subscribe and give this video a like and comment below to let us know what type of videos you would like to see us create in the future. And if you would really like to support all of us here at the GameOverJesse channel, please consider purchasing a GameOverJesse t-shirt or becoming a Patreon at patreon.com/GameOverJesse, where you can receive many rewards, such as getting shoutouts, having any topic or theory that you select discussed on the podcast or made into its own video, having your question answered, joining on as a guest on the podcast, and playing with us during our Twitch live streams at twitch.tv/GameOverJesse, and much, much more.